Call the City Council of West Liberty, Iowa to order for our regular meeting. First is roll call, and we're joined by Council Member Parizek, Council Member Dominguez, Mayor ProTem McFerren, Council Member Schiltz, and Council Member Martinez. The first item on the agenda is approval of the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and we move to item number 3 on the list, approval of the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Is there is a second, is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Those
Aye.
You can tell I've been in police for a week. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Item number 4, beer and liquor license, a 12-month Class B retail alcohol license for New York Dollar Store expiring September 19th, 2026. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
There hasn't been any issues.
No issues.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and we move to item number 4, reports. And the first report is from our city engineer.
I'll try and keep this short for you.
It's also in the packet too.
So the first thing is we're getting started on the East 6th Street reconstruction. They were actually starting survey today out there, and hopefully have that done here this week, or most of it done this week. I didn't know exactly when it was scheduled when I put together the report, but I'm expecting by the end of this week, and then we'll get some preliminary design, and I would say later this month or early October, we'll have some design done where we'll start to meet with city staff and go over that with the city staff, and probably in October or November, start looking at getting, I would assume, a meeting set up with the community members in that area to be able to go over the project with them. We're meeting with the electric department tomorrow to talk about the project, just to see what needs they need and how we need to coordinate that, the work with them and their engineer for the electric utility. So I'll have more known after that. And then later this week or early next week, I'll have the concept and cost estimate prepared for Spencer Street and sent over to the city staff to start talking through that, make sure we have the scope right. And then I would say one of the meetings in October, we'll have that just to share with the council. That's for next year's CIP project. The other thing, I need to get a meeting set up with the water staff. We've been focusing on other things, but we brought up that West Tower Loop project for water main. That was on this year's CIP, so I need to get with them and kind of go over the project, and then we'll put together a cost estimate and concept for that. And then we did the drainage review for 1115 Elm Street, and no issues with what was shown on the plans. Unfortunately, this Thursday we were scheduled to have it just got canceled or postponed today for the water plant to do the aerator inspection and the filter media sampling. The rural water individual that was going to be meeting with us, he didn't realize he was flying back from New Orleans on Thursday. So unfortunately, we're going to have to postpone that. I don't know what date we'll have yet, but I'm going to work with Edgar and Austin over there to get another date scheduled. I'm thinking by the end of this month, if not early October, we'll get that taken care of. We're one of our operators is gonna go over there to the water plant and go through their sampling. Just they want to go through it and make sure they're doing everything correctly, see if there's anything else they need to do. And then one of the things he's gonna do is go through the operations. We're gonna try and figure out a way to get them to be able to produce a more consistent quality leaving. It's fine water, nothing to be concerned with, but just some of the variability that they see, we're going to try and help fix that issue for them to make it easier to operate. So hopefully that will happen a little in the next couple of weeks, and then I'll have more to report after that time. And then over the next couple of months, we're going to get together and go over the pump stations, the water side and the wastewater side, the lift stations, and kind of go through those and see what needs those need and start sending that over to city staff. So if something needs to be addressed or it needs to be added to the CIP, we can start those discussions, but at this time, no action on that. Wastewater department, our grade 4 wastewater operator will be visiting site, to go through. He's operated a facility like that just to go over things with the staff and see if there's any improvement or not improvements, but operational changes that will help get made. And then right now we're just kind of in a wait and see mode for phase 1 to get completed. And then we'll start working with them on phase 2 once that project's been bid and let. Lee's been doing a great job of keeping me updated on how phase 1's progressing. So, and then the other thing is with that phenol, I just got the plan today to review before I send it over to Jurgen or Craig and the staff there to start doing the sampling and monitoring for phenols that are on the NPDS permit for a compliance schedule. We don't think there's going to be any action from the city, but this is to help show that we're not going to have to do anything and see if there's a source that we can help reduce. So
This is a normal, like, kind of sampling that is to be done for compliance anyway.
phenols is unique. It's not something you see every day. It's usually done with cleaning agents. So somewhere in town, it might be using a cleaning agent and we may have to, so there's a few places in town that we're gonna have them do some sampling at to determine if that could be the source of it, and then we'll talk with them about using a different type of cleaner.
They just had a sewer line cleaned out on one of the public housing projects. And it was quite a major operation to scale everything off.
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
I don't think that would be the case. This is more of a type of cleaner like schools sometimes are. Sometimes it's industry in town, like when they do their cleaning at the end of night at the last shift, overnight before they start operations up the next morning. That's usually where we see it. The other location that we've seen it come up with here recently was Storm Lake. And they're they're a little larger than West Liberty, but similar in the fact that they have a meat processing facility in town. So they did that. They looked at it, and I can't remember if it was the meat processing facility or the school district that we actually had to have a conversation with, but it was one of those two that we discussed with, and that's actually gotten handled. Now all you have to do is go through 12 months to show that it's not going to be an issue before the DNR will remove that from the permit. So I don't envision it being anything that we have to invest a lot of money and time into. It's just proving to the DNR it won't be an issue. Action items, like I said, really just getting that cost estimate and concept done for Spencer Street. The water operator to meet with the water staff, wastewater operator to meet with the wastewater staff. And then going over a couple of the projects with the water plant. Really the big one is that West Loop, Tower Loop project. And then at some point, I know I need to get a meeting scheduled for, I believe, the pool, and also do a facility assessment with one of our architects that I'm gonna kind of put myself to the side because that's not my area of expertise. So, but I'll get us in touch with the right person. But with the pool, I was kind of waiting until pool season closed to get that started. So. Any questions?
No, I didn't have a question.
Oh,
Comment.
I did have a question. Is the Spencer Street, where is that exactly? I can't remember.
I think 4th or 3rd Street to 7th Street.
Okay,
So
yeah, I just wasn't sure.
really
And
the
then,
brick section, I believe.
yeah. Are we going to look at just redoing the curb and gutter, or are we?
Right now,
the whole-
what's in there is a full recon,
Oh.
but those are some of the discussion, like we want to put together the estimate and then have that discussion with city staff to see what that will all entail. So.
Including bricks or without?
Oh, that decision hasn't been made yet.
Okay.
So, bricks will be more expensive if we do come back with brick, but there's things that you can do. But that discussion hasn't been had. So 6th Street, that one section between Miller and the highway is going to be replaced with concrete, that one section, but Spencer Street, we haven't gotten that far into the conversation yet.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Or that's what I should say, that's what the plan is currently.
It just, long ago, I know that the intentions for city leadership was to maintain the brick streets because that gives us that unique niche from, long ago. So brick streets was something we wanted to try and maintain if we could. But-
Yeah. Yeah, there hasn't been a full decision made on.
Okay.
The one with Miller was the only one that has, the direction so far is to go, but that's, we're not even in the design, so that can still be a conversation if it needs to be. And then Spencer Street, yeah, we haven't even gotten to that stage of the conversation, so.
And yeah, are you going to go through and check all the lift stations then and just kind of get an assessment?
Yeah, do like a condition or talk through it, see if there's any need at this time. One of the things that we're gonna have to figure out that, I think Edgar made me aware when we first got hired was backup generation, for those, and doesn't necessarily have to be a permanent standby generator there, but having the ability to make sure you have a portable connection and the proper portable generators are being able to rent them in order to be able to have access to them in case of an emergency. So, but other than that, they haven't really brought anything else to my attention yet on those.
I was just gonna comment, I liked your report and particularly what you just went over with the action steps.
Yeah,
Very good format.
no, I appreciate that, so. And yeah, if you have any feedback on this, I'm always willing to take feedback, but something we've been doing for a little while, so.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, city manager's report is in the packet. I don't believe she was online. So are there any questions over the city manager's report?
I had a question, but if she's not online, then it might. Not matter. About the pool section, I think that was part of the report, right? Like the timeline.
It's back at the end of it, yeah.
Yeah, so, which is great, it was like really helpful. But I was thinking, I think Josh Jackson like had tagged a few of us in a post about kind of a proposal about just ideas in his Josh way of, you know, what it would look like to create like an aquatic center that has this like a STEM lab and like really cool ideas and stuff like that, but which is probably way out of our ability. It was like 15-16 million, but there was such really good ideas of the grants. And I know that he in particular has so much knowledge and connection about different grants as well that could help as you know, alongside our wheelie director. And it was thinking like looking through this timeline, maybe it would be cool to put together like a community advisory task force or something, because so many people are invested in the pool. And I think there's a lot of pool talent in our community that may be able to help find money or have knowledge about stuff that, you know, Phil might not know about, or the count, or the staff might not have the capacity to research and find. So that was just an idea that came from that public comment. But when I was reading city manager report, it kind of reminded me to say something about it.
I made a note of that.
Right.
Thanks. Any other comments about the city manager's report?
I have a question about the water and sewer.
Okay,
About the agreement that we're not renewing with 120 water, because they haven't completed their side of their agreement.
I'm sorry, didn't.
No, 120 water.
Yeah, the 120, the belief is that we're.
So is that do we pay the 13,000 at the beginning of the year, or do we pay that towards the end of the year? Or is that like monthly payments? Or
I'm guessing that amount is a one-time payment, but.
Do you remember how we paid it last
I
time?
believe it was a one-time payment.
at the beginning of the year?
So this got passed not this last year. It would have been in 2023, I believe, I think it was 2023. So that part I would have to look into for when it's actually paid itself, but I do know that staff has not been happy with the work, and Lenny probably knows some of that information because staff has been very vocal about it, especially with the lead and copper. They are not fulfilling what they were essentially hired to do for the staff.
The
So
reason-
our staff will be helping, administrative staff will actually be helping with the letters this coming time.
I just didn't know if like we would get reimbursed or if we were to cut the agreement short. Or not.
So we just won't renew. So we won't renew that contract once it expires.
If they haven't fulfilled what they have said they were going to do, is there any way we can be able to acquire some of that back, or?
That would be a question for city manager Gertz. She's the one that actually handles the communication with the department and with the 120.
Okay,
I can only answer questions on the backside for what we handle.
yeah. Okay,
Okay, are there further questions about the city manager's report? Hearing none, we'll move on to committee reports, and I know the fire department met this past week. I also know that under new, probably some of the discussion from that is on for new business too, but I'll turn to council member Parizek.
No, that's correct. Our monthly meeting, we discussed that item itself and to get on board with everybody and, they also, they're starting to get more things in place over there, like they're doing their IT department and they have a volunteer from a local area that's gonna help them out with that, so at no cost.
Good.
So that's gonna be nice for them and, they're still working on getting the deed and the transfer update over at Mr. Tharp's office, but that's coming along and that's about it that we had for our meeting next month.
Okay, are there any questions? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to item number 6A, vendor voucher claim list number 1 in the amount of $460,101.50. Is there a motion to approve?
motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and we will move to item number 7, which is a time in our council meeting for public comments and correspondence. So first, are there any public comments? If so, please state your name and address for the record and keep your comments to no more than 2 minutes. Second call, are there any public comments? Third call, are there any public comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to city council public comments and or correspondence, and we'll start with council member Martinez.
I didn't get the feedback with the utilities, obviously it's been in our packet, I reached out to a couple of council members, just kind of give them feedback of my knowledge of what's going on. A lot of community members have reached out, obviously we all have been working, coordinating together, just try to give as much education that we can. I was hoping that maybe for the next few months, depending on our schedules, we could host like a town hall or a town educational night where we can explain to them how our rates work and why we've been seeing increase and how it's gonna be moving forward. That way there's not a lot of confusion going on. I feel like even then, the information that was sent out, I mean, it's easy for us to understand, but I feel like myself struggle to kind of explain it to the community members. I think as a whole, it'd be better to put all of our brains together so we can give a better explanation that way. Another thing is Friday and Saturday, Iowa Mission of Mercy is gonna have a free dental clinic.
Yes.
In Iowa City. For anybody that wants to go. I think start time is 6 a.m. until 4 or 5 p.m.
In Iowa City.
In Corbo, we'll be at the Hyatt Regency, the Marriott down there by the
River Landing.
River Landing. It'll be Friday and Saturday, all day, 6 to 10, probably like 6 to 6, I think it's time.
Okay.
So if anybody that wants to get free dental work, it's completely free. So if you know of anybody that would like to get free dental work, it doesn't have any, it's available to anybody in Iowa or anybody out of Iowa as well.
Okay. Councilmember Schiltz.
One of my neighbors was having an issue with some of the lines being cut recently and some approachment from the company involved on their property, but city manager Gertz has been handling that pretty diligently, and I've just been kind of checking in here and there, and it seems like it's moving through. That's good. We've also had some conversations concerning utility rates, getting those questions answered for people. And I did have some correspondence regarding questions concerning the traffic around our middle school on Miller Street. If there's been any further discussions involved with kind of minimizing the kind of headache that comes about, so I didn't know, like, that's still being talked about between city and school, and people have been seeing an influx, obviously, in some schools, so.
That was noted too on the walking tour that we did, so, yeah.
Keep those discussions going between all parties, just to see how they.
Mayor ProTem.
Pretty much what was already listed in regards to utility bills. I'm just hearing a lot of feedback from the public.
Councilmember Dominguez.
I think. Everything that city manager Gertz had put in her report that she was working on was kind of in line with the feedback that I was getting from the public, so I don't think there's any other comments that I need to bring up.
Councilmember Parizek.
Pretty much more of the same for the utilities for it, but nothing other.
Okay. City clerk, any public comments or correspondence?
I do not at this time. I did want to give everyone a heads up that we are aware of the communication that's happening with the utility bills. The concerns that people are raising, I would be open to being able to get some more information out there. That might be something I can work with Brittany on to try and get more information out there for people. But if people come to you and they have questions, you can always direct them to me. I can show them the ordinances. I can go through all that information. Anytime they have questions, you can direct them to come and speak with us at City Hall to kind of help with your, like, if you're struggling answering those questions, we would have all the documentation and stuff to be able to provide that information to them.
Okay, that brings us then to new business, item 8A, discussion and appropriate action by the city council on the interim EMS staffing structure, and we're joined by Brett Carlson from our EMS staff. So we have discussion first, and then we have a motion, and then we have roll call vote. Would you like to start?
I guess I don't know what everybody's questions are regarding it, so I'll give the base synopsis of it, I guess. So since the fire department side has moved to the agency, that kind of removed Chief Sickles and Assistant Chief Dog from what the city was recognizing as the administration side of the fire EMS services. And that left a gap as no active administrator for the ambulance side. The city has been gracious enough, Lee and Shari have been gracious enough to allow me and Sandy Hike to kind of fulfill those duties. And to sign payroll, to sign POs, things like that, but we're not technically in that role. And it kind of puts everybody kind of in just a little bit of a precarious position, gray area. So this is to kind of set up a structure, however interim it may be, until everything moves over to the agency. So that we can make those decisions that we need to over on the ambulance side. And we can, not have to run to Shari or Lee, to have some bills paid with credit cards and stuff like that. So it's to make sure that everything runs efficiently over there. And so that we're not running into issues with running out of supplies or running out into a vendor issue, anything like that. Sandy Hike has retired, so we don't have her nearly as much anymore. And so now my name is on all of the agreements with the pharmacy, all the agreements with the state, all the agreements with the medical director. So I'm kind of holding all of my certifications, licensures, and everything is out there on the line for the liability side of things. And I'm holding the same title that I held 4 years ago when I was just a lead medic. So that's kind of why it is. It's kind of to help reflect the responsibilities and duties of the individuals that are holding stuff. As far as Kathy goes, she has access to pharmacy paperwork, pharmacy requests, HIPAA paperwork, patient records, stuff like that, to help submit stuff and upload stuff to billing and do the checks and stuff. Which her title currently would not reflect that she would have access to that, so it's to help define the roles as they are assigned currently within the department.
All right. So this was discussed at the fire meeting and I don't know where we're at, if the comfort level has improved or.
Dramatically, yeah. I think it was
Okay.
just more questions and thanks for the emails and all that stuff to discuss. Both sides of it, and I think we're on the good working relationship still, so.
Yeah, we have to do.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks
Yeah.
for everything you guys do and continue will do. So, yeah, I think we're good.
And it's, I think, I just calculated, it's 9.5 months, I think, until the transition, the full transition takes place, unless the agency requests more time, is how the agreement is written, so. Okay, is there further discussion from the council with questions?
I just wanted to say, Brett, like, if you guys do this and you're like, well, this isn't really working, like, just keep bringing it up, because it is a transition period, and I want you and Kathy and all the volunteers to it to be as smooth as possible.
Yeah, and that's what we're working with, and working with Dog, Chief and Mindy and everybody to ensure that everything is going to be ready for us to move over, because they're. When it comes to this line of work, there really can't be any hiccups when it comes to this, I mean, because it's only gonna kind of trickle downhill and affect us personally and our certifications and licensures. But it does to the city or the agency, so we are committed to having everything run very, very smoothly.
Awesome.
So, thank you.
All right, so if there's no further discussion, we could entertain a motion. The motion could be to approve the structure that was presented by the city manager a month ago, or our last meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the interim EMS staffing structure.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
So with that, the clerk will call the roll.
Parizek,
Yes.
Dominguez,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Schiltz,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
So tomorrow is homecoming. And so we have 8B, discussion and appropriate action by the city council on event assistance and street closure application from the West Liberty School Community Schools for the West Liberty Homecoming Parade. So first discussion. Second is a motion.
Motion approved.
Is there a second to the motion to approve?
Second.
The clerk will call, it's a consent vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and we'll move on to 8C, which is a preview of the October 7th meeting. And even though it's hot outside, November, the city, the Chamber of Commerce Director will be here next council meeting to discuss this, but November 22nd and 23rd is the holiday stroll weekend, where we have the lighting of the tree. When I talked to Jacob today about this last year, I had a person who had obtained her citizenship light the Christmas tree. And I know that we have 3 new citizens in our community, and I would like to continue that tradition of having the new citizens of our communities light the Christmas tree. That'll be our main responsibility for that event. City Clerk, anything else that you can think of that might be coming up?
Yep, this will be the meeting where we have the 3 ordinances that I discussed last meeting, so the fire ordinance, because we have to remove our 1975 out of there and put the
Right.
28E, the leash law agreement, and then the fireworks ordinance that will need to go into place because we're required to have that underneath the state code now.
Yeah.
So there will be those 3 public notices will be in the paper next Thursday.
All right, any questions? With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you are adjourned.